This is a 2000 Saturn SL2, and this is not meant to be a standalone video. There are several other videos. I will try to link a couple of them to this video, but the main issue here was replacing the ignition coil. There's two of them, and the reason why I'm doing this is because the new ones look significantly different than the old ones. And if you've never pulled one of these apart and you're able to get it out, you can see the old one looks completely different than the new one, and it has all these things around it, and it's not entirely clear how you get it out. Okay, so this metal piece here is the ignition module. The ignition module mounts down here, 1, 2, 1, 2. So you have 4 bolts, right? But they're different lengths. The ones that go in the bottom are quite a bit shorter, and the ones that go in the top are supposed to go through this, which goes around the spark plugs. And I'm going to leave that to different videos, but basically this holds the spark plugs, and then there's another one right here, so you have 2 of these. And as you can see, they would be significantly longer. However, in my case, they were missing, and the only 2 bolts that were holding this on were these bottom bolts. Okay, so one of the things you probably want to do when you're working on electrical is, even though it's kind of an extra step and takes all of 30 seconds, is disconnect your positive and or your negative, but just disconnect it and get it away from here so that you don't short anything out or accidentally hit a socket wrench or something up against something. You can cause a lot of problems. So in taking this off, getting down to the bolt that's on the bottom, it's a number 8, right? So these are not very strong bolts, and you shouldn't really over crank them. So you have a 8mm that goes on there. Not hard to get out, but it is hard to reach it because you have to get all the way down here. And let me show you the ignition module again. You can see this is where the clip's gonna go. And little things that I found, like you have to see my other video on this manifold repair. By the way, I do have a video, maybe I should link it here, of repairing this leaking manifold. It's been holding and it's not an issue, it doesn't leak anymore, but it was cracked. I broke this little nipple here and tried to replace that hose, broke that, but it was leaking through this manifold, this ABS manifold that's in here, and I was able to repair the leaking manifold without taking any of this off. Some of the other videos have you take all this stuff off to get to this manifold and then repair the heater tube leak that goes back to your heater core. That's a whole nother video, but I kind of invented a new way of doing it. It's a little bit different than anything I've ever seen on the internet, but it's been holding fine. Doesn't leak anymore, so that's awesome. In any case, when you run into this and you're able to get this off, because it's down there like that, you got to be very careful with the wires when you unclip it, so you don't break it, right? But you probably want to clean it with some electrical cleaner, and then be very careful and make sure your wires aren't all left hanging and they're properly protected so you don't end up with a short somewhere. All right, so I'll go through later and clean all that stuff up, but here's the issue. Let's suppose you order the new part, and what you get looks like this. But what you pull out is 2 of these. And if you notice right here, there's a little clip. Okay, see that little clip right there? There is no little clip like that on the back of this. All right. Let's see. Here's the part. I got this on 1A Auto. It was $100, I think, for all 4 plugs, all 4 wires, and 2 of these things. Okay, so there you go. Right, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about it. 1, 2, 3, 4. At least one of the videos that I found said this was number 4, and this was number 2, and this was number 3, and this was number 1. When they did it down here, they went 1. I think they went 1, 4, 2, 3. According to mine, it's 4 is going to be first, right? Then 1, then 2, then 3. You can't do too much labeling on these things to make sure you don't get lost, because if you get lost when you go back to start the car up, you're going to end up just really struggling. So it's a good idea to label stuff. It doesn't take very long. But the big problem came in when I tried to get these tabs off and pull this thing back, and I wasn't sure if I was going to break it. So if you look down here, you see where you have these tabs. And again, that's an electrical connection, and electrical connections after time definitely can go bad. So cleaning that stuff up is good. But as you can see here, in order to get this in, you would stick it in there and then push down like that, right? But if you're looking at the new one, you're not sure about that because there's no clip there. So it would appear that you can just pull it off, which if you tried to pry this off, it would break this harness. So mine, who knows how long it had been, and I didn't want to break it. It's not really clear. Does, you know, this thing hold it on, right? And so you can start to get pretty panicked, like, damn, I took this whole thing apart and I can't get it off because this thing's been on there for so long it wouldn't come off. So what I was able to do, watch a couple videos, make sure I wasn't screwing anything up, and then just turned it a little bit, and I was able to pop this off and unclip that, right? Just in case the car doesn't start, be careful and don't screw up all your parts. All right, so again, here you can see that's just not coming apart very easily. It's been corroded in there for a while, but with a little turn, it came out, right? So again, there's the clip. So definitely, you're gonna wanna clean those contact points with electrical cleaner. Proper way to do it. Clean all this stuff up. Clean up the plate, and you know, when you put the bolts back in, don't over crank them. You can watch another video for how to remove these here. Take off your plug wires, remove your plugs, and I recommend you use anti-seize. That's about it. So just anyone who's having trouble trying to figure out why the new stuff doesn't look like the old stuff, and is it the wrong part or is it going to fit in there, let me show you that it does in fact fit in there. Okay, so I'm not going to do this right now because I got to clean those contact points, but you can see that this one, instead of having to be pivoted in there as it were like this and pivoted down, it'll just go straight down, right? But the problem is there's no clip there to leverage it, and I'm missing that top bolt. That's going to be a problem. So I'm going to come up 2 bolts short, and I suppose I can get the same length bolts here, and I can just add on that length there, and hopefully all this stuff will fit. Maybe I go down to the parts store, they might have those bolts, maybe not. But, you know, hopefully that helps somebody. Good luck.